Yeah, it tastes like we're so back. I started this year not really having any type of resolution, but then unintentionally I started doing things that I've always wanted to do. I am just so excited. I'm so excited to be back on here and to be posting more. I have a lot to talk about. But one of those things that I really wanted to do was throw an at-home cafe. And I mean, this is an idea that I've had for literally like a year. And I never got to it, but I feel like right now is the best time to do so because I'm in a better space, quite literally and mentally. Over like the past year or so, I kind of unintentionally also became like a coffee snob. Because I'm sure if any actual coffee snobs are watching this, you're just like, you're making coffee on a Breville. Yeah, I am. So I'm gonna go into this by doing things the way I do, which is probably a lot harder than they need to be. Some very surface level things that I do know right now, and that is that I want this cafe to revolve around hanging out with friends and listening to music. That I want my guests to come in here and feel like they're inside one of those like lo-fi chill hip hop like YouTube videos that are just like playing on loop, you know, the ones, you know, it's my first time doing this and we'll learn, we'll figure it out. Okay, let me just give you guys a tour of my cafe setup right now. It's not much. This is what we have going on right now. We have my Breville Barista Express. Okay, so for syrups, I really enjoy the Monin brand. Right now, these syrups have just been more so like a backup because I have been making my own syrups at home, specifically a vanilla syrup and a brown sugar syrup. They're my go-tos and those are actually in the fridge. Here are just a couple of more things, a little coffee container, which is probably not as seal tight as it needs to be. This little damper set that my boyfriend actually got me for Christmas. And speaking of my boyfriend, he's a hairstylist and this is actually his like scale that he uses to like mix his dyes or hair color or whatever it is, but he doesn't use it anymore, so he gave it to me. And then here is my little matcha setup. This is a matcha that I bought from Amazon, like a super cheap one that I wanted to practice with before I get into like a more like expensive matcha, and just like a kettle that my boyfriend also got me for Christmas. But yeah, other than that, what you see is what you get. But if there's any updates, you guys will probably see it later on in the video. We have just like my Pinterest board here, some vintage magazines, and of course my journal. I want to show you guys my Pinterest just to get a vibe of what I'm going for at the moment. Little hand-drawn motions, very homey. So we have like 3 concepts. We have Cafesazo, Cafe Amigos, Cool Beans, and Cafesazo is kind of leading the charge right now. Okay, and then also over here on the iPad, I've already started kind of like doodling a little menu, but I don't know. I've kind of been having like creative block and I feel like none of these names are really speaking to me, or what I'm coming up with is not like, I don't know, like I'm not like drawn by it. Like I haven't felt inspired to like create a logo. So I think I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. I'm gonna figure that out. But like I said, what I do know is that I want to play music, specifically jazz music. So tomorrow I'm gonna go to my local record store and I'm gonna go pick up some jazz records. I don't know, more on that later, I guess. Guys, I'm back from the drawing board, as you can tell by my new glasses. I realized that I was in such a pickle. Sister, I'm pickled. I realized that the idea was literally staring back at me every day that I would walk into my apartment. So without any further ado, introducing Amplify, a home cafe pop-up and hi-fi lounge. So a bit of a backstory on this is that I collect a bunch of vintage tech, so old TVs, VCRs, radios, etc., etc. And I just have that sitting around my apartment everywhere. One of the things in this magazine that I saw earlier were a whole bunch of ads for like vintage hi-fi stereos, cassette decks, and a whole bunch of things. And I was like, oh, wait, I have a whole bunch of that stuff. And I've heard about hi-fi lounges. And so I went into like this rabbit hole of like cafes with similar aesthetics and hi-fi lounges in general. And I thought, I can do that and I will do that. So once I like stuck to the name, everything started to come together in terms of aesthetics, the logo, the menu design, and everything. So yeah, let's just talk about that a little bit.
Cassette player as small as a cassette case.
I found this graphic on Pinterest and I thought I can do something like that. I wanted an invitation or like a poster to kind of just incorporate all the elements that I'm trying to include. So I set aside a day to just like do all my promo shots. So I had this idea for the invitation to be like an animated graphic, like send a gift to people and have like all my promo videos like just kind of like loop, and that would be the invitation. And this is what I came up with. It's so interesting. I had no idea Photoshop had like a built-in video editor, and I'm so happy with how it looks. I think it looks so cool. When it came to the menu, I just wanted to keep it like kind of simple, and I made this. I printed it out and I didn't really like how it looked. What I did was I also like animated this menu a little bit, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have this TV next to me in the cafe, and this will display like the menu. And to take full advantage of the TV, I didn't want to just have the menu playing full time. So I found these like vintage commercials for like hi-fi and cassette systems that I thought could play like in between like the actual menu plays. So I decided to place those vintage commercials and then add like a strip of text that just keeps like reiterating like the menu. But yeah, this whole process, ever since I came up with the name, has been so fun. It's just so fun to have something to look forward to, and like, yeah, never kill yourself. Okay, the box is a little torn, but we're gonna hope for the best. Okay, so we're officially like 1 week out from the cafe, and I ordered things. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Okay, so I ordered some sticker labels to just put on the cups, you know, really give the cafe experience. Let's see, let's take a look at one. Let's take a moment to appreciate how stunning. I'm obsessed. Okay, and these are the cups that I will be using. I'm gonna see what it looks like with like the sticker on here. I'm actually very surprised of how well this looks. Granted, I did make this logo and this label like a couple of weeks ago. So I definitely think that there's some things that I could have done differently. The other thing that I ordered that you guys saw me bringing through the door right now was the IKEA Heelys table. I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's essentially just like a metal, like little cabinet, open cabinet. We're gonna go ahead and build that. I heard they're hard to build, but I got my drill and all my little tools ready. Okay, I'm fully just gonna move this out of the way so I can build it on the carpet, because I don't know, I just feel like doing it on the carpet. Okay. I don't fucking know. The instructions seem simple enough, but y'all know it's never that easy. Oh my god. I've been trying to screw in these screws into this drawer for like a little over an hour now. It's not hard at all. But for some reason the screws just won't align with these damn holes. And I did see that online. See if a vinyl shelf even fits. I could have sworn I saw people with vinyls in it. Maybe they like made their own holes. I don't. I'll just show you guys when it's done. Ta-da! Okay, so it's the next day, and last night we spent way too much time deciding where we wanted the setup to be, and eventually we landed on this area right here next to the entrance. Initially, we wanted it to be where our old setup was, which was right here in front of me, so guests would walk in and they will immediately be greeted by the hi-fi setup. But we quickly realized that we miscalculated how long these shelving units were, because it just wasn't gonna work out. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit skeptical about placing this area right in front of this window, because you know, the whole vinyl situation of it all, and I don't know. I just wasn't like a big fan at first. I wanted it to be where it was somewhere flat where we can like hang some artwork on top of it. But after we started decorating the unit and placing all of our equipment on there, I started to get really convinced, and I'm glad we stuck with it because I'm actually really excited for it. I really wanted it to give a vibe that you're in a conversation pit in the 70s and you're sipping your coffee or your matcha, and then there's just like some awesome music playing. But let's take a closer look at what we have going on here. Down here, I put a couple of vinyls. These are just the ones that are in heavy rotation. I also have my surprise song vinyl case, which if you're a Taylor Swift fan, you know about. Over here, we have my cassette deck with this cassette case from, I think, Retrospect. My cassette deck here is a Pioneer CT F500. When I tell you guys, I was on the hunt for a cassette deck specifically with this style for the longest time until I walked into my local record store that you guys saw earlier, and they had it sitting there. Swear to God, I walked in and I pointed right at it and I was like, how much? And they told me and I bought it immediately and it works like a charm. My speaker system, not the most expensive speaker system, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I stole it from my older brother because it was just sitting there and it was free. Yeah, calling this a hi-fi lounge and just having some computer speakers is kind of crazy, I'm aware. And also naming this cafe Amplify, not having an amplifier is also crazy. I wait for those things to come to me. Like I wait for the right one to just like meet me one day at an antique store or a thrift store, and I haven't found it yet. And then we have my record player, which is just the basic Audio Technica, the old version. This is not the Bluetooth version. I've had this for a while. And then down here, we just have some photo albums and some board games and this lamp that I got at Five Below. But yeah, it's just a super simple setup. So this right here is my reel-to-reel tape recorder. This is something that I've been wanting forever, and this one came to me. This one found me. Lo and behold, I found one on so I found this on Marketplace for such a steal, and it works perfectly. I tested it out. I was a little scared because the listing did say that he didn't know if it worked or if the music played, but there was actually music on here from the last person who ever used this. They had like a whole bunch of like old country music, like from the 60s. So my intention for the cafe was to record my own playlist and have it play from here. But we're gonna opt out of that right now because I did already go to the record store and buy my vinyls. But this is definitely something that I'm gonna incorporate in the future. I also wanted this to be on the setup with the rest of the things, but there was no way that those IKEA shelves were gonna be able to withstand this monstrosity. This thing weighs a ton. It weighs a good probably 50 pounds. I just love looking at it. I love looking at it. It makes me happy. As you can see on the time by the stove, it is 1:07 in the morning. The cafe is at 3 p.m. today. And I'm barely making the syrups. I had a long week, guys. I had a long week and I had a long day. I'm only doing brown sugar and a vanilla syrup just as like a regular option. We're sticking to the basics and it'll be fine.
By bringing 1 cup of sugar and 1 cup of water up to a low simmer. Take it off the heat, then mix in 1 tablespoon.
Damn, that's a lot of sugar for a correct measurement. Okay, so we have officially made it to the day of the cafe, and we have a couple of things that we need to get done today, like pick up ice and just like little things that here and there. I need to actually put the stickers on the cups because that completely left my brain when I was supposed to do it. So I'm gonna get that done, and then we're just gonna wrap up everything for 3 p.m. and get ready to welcome our guests. It smells so good in here, guys. It's actually crazy. It smells like a cafe. Let's see. Nice. Woo. Yeah, that looks better. That looks more cafe vibe.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh my god. Should we get custom aprons made that say Amplify? We should sell merch.
Wait, this is looking so cute. Chai cookie update.
You need to make them smaller.
Yeah, they're just cookies, so they'll bake pretty fast. It's already like 2 p.m. So we got about an hour. Okay. the code and everything. I was like, bought this and we used it for a while, and then abrirme Dutch aquí, and so we were going to Dutch, and then Eric was like, so this is just a phase, like gastamos dinero, and I was like, ah no, we're going back. Well guys, we did it, and I'm very happy with how everything turned out. I'm usually someone to plan for the worst or to expect the worst. I mean, there's just something about hanging out with friends that you haven't seen in a while that really makes you want to live. I was a little anxious at first, I'm not gonna lie, but that quickly went away because I mean the vibe was just so good, guys. Like, it just really was. I feel a lot better about inviting more people. I feel like I kept this very low key this first time just because I did want to see how everything was gonna work out. There's definitely some things that we have to workshop in terms of like the setup. I need to close this off. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this video. Hopefully there's more content like this to come. Subscribe and all of that. Do people still say that? Usually cool people just like end it, right? Oh god. I gotta clean it. I have work tomorrow.